Welcome in on a Sunday morning, 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk, and we are protecting military families like we do every Sunday morning right here on 104.5 WOKV. Chris Brochu, the owner of Brochu Law, with us. Casey Kurtz with you as well. And we have a special guest joining us in just 1 second. But Chris, how you doing this Sunday morning?
Casey, good morning. Doing well. How are you doing?
Good, man. Happy to be with you. Let's do it right off the top as we always do. It's what you pride yourself on, the Brochu Law Second Opinion. Tell me about it. Tell the people about it. How can you help them?
First off, if you're out there and you served in our military, thank you for your service. If you have a life insurance case under Siglia or a civilian one, remember, if you submit a death certificate and a beneficiary claim form and your insurance company hasn't sent you a check within 30 days, red flag, red flag, red flag. Military second opinion available to military and civilian families if the VA or someone has denied you or told you, hey, these are all the benefits you're entitled to. This is all you're ever going to get. And you have a question about that, or you've got a question about a legal right, give us a call. We're going to give you a free second opinion. Second opinion's just a consultation. We'll review your medical records and all the different denial letters. We'll figure out if they got it right or wrong. If they may have missed something, what we'll do is we'll talk about what we may be able to pursue on the veteran or military family's behalf. We would then enter into a fee agreement. No fee unless we win. We advance all costs on behalf of military and civilian families. So if you have a question about your military benefits or your legal rights, go ahead and give us a call or send us an email at case@brochulaw.com. Phonetically, Bravo, Romeo, Oscar, Charlie, Hotel, Umbrella. Don't get that R or E in there. So with that being said, we've got a great guest on the show today. Adam, welcome.
God, thank you. Yeah, good morning to everybody. And again, thank you for everybody out there that has served our country and your service. So excited to be here. Thank you again for the invitation.
And Adam, you currently serve active duty, right?
I do, yeah. Right now I'm stationed at NAS Jacksonville with the U.S. Navy. Active duty chief right now is ATC, so avionics technician is what I do on the day-to-day. I'm also an instructor right now, so.
Thank you for your service. And how long have you been in the Navy for?
I'm just about to hit 17 years, so
wow.
Next month. So, yep, we're almost there. But absolutely love the time that I've had in the military and what the Navy's given me and my family. So excited to be in still, but excited to hit that 20-year mark. That's for sure. So
absolutely. And before we get into, we're going to be talking today, folks, about military lending, and then we're going to talk about in the second half of the show, Adam's real estate group that features and puts military families first. So if you're a service member, a veteran, or a military family, and you're buying or selling real estate in Northeast Florida, this is the group you want to get at. You know, as you guys know by now, the only people that I have on my show are people that we believe in, people that are good to our service members and veterans, people that treat our military families right. That's Adam and his team. So we're going to talk about some real estate in the second half of the show. We're going to get into some military lending stuff here in a minute. But before then, where have you lived, Adam? Have you always been in Northeast Florida? Where have you been in your travels with the military?
Yeah, so actually I've been super lucky to be down here in Northeast Florida. My first duty station was HSL 44, which was a helicopter squadron that primarily our mission was to hunt submarines. So I did 2 deployments with those over in 5th Fleet, which is Iraq area and over there. I then went to HSM 74, which we transitioned to the new helicopters. Same mission, but also search and rescue. I did 3 tours there as well. And then I actually was able to shoot up back to New York, where I'm originally from. So I'm a New Yorker. I know you Floridians are mad at some of us moving down here right now. But, yeah, I was able to go back up to New York, and I actually got to do a recruiting duty. So I actually got to go to my high school and recruit some people into the Navy and, assist them with getting in and helping them out. Finished that tour, and then I was actually able to come back down to Jacksonville. I went to HSM 70, did 4 years there, 3 tours, and now I'm able to I got transferred to CNETU Jacksonville, which is a training command, shore duty command. And there's my 3 years. But I'm up for orders, so hopefully the Navy's going to keep me here as well. So we'll see.
We hope so.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
right. Yeah.
And I'm a Yankee too. I moved down here about 8 years ago. I'm from Maine, so
Okay. Never going back?
No. No.
Okay,
Are
good.
you kidding me? I love it here. I love it here.
That's right.
It's so nice. And my business is here too. And the clients I work with, I've got clients in about 30 states, military clients. But yeah, just there's no better group to help and serve. I truly believe that, even as a civilian that hasn't served. You know, our military families, they don't ask for anything. And that's why I think it's so important to kind of inform our military community about their rights, because there are so many things available. And one of the things that we're talking about this morning is the Military Lending Act. So the Military Lending Act is essentially an act that we have under a federal statute that over the years has evolved into more of a consumer-friendly statute for our military. And what it does, it prohibits lending practices that are against, it prevents certain predatory lending practices. So it caps certain interest rates. It prohibits mandatory binding arbitration. There are disclosures similar to the Truth in Lending Act that are required. And I think the bottom line is the more military families that know about the Military Lending Act that are maybe stuck in some of these bad loans, right, with these companies that are preying on our military,
Absolutely.
that if we can get them out of those loans, maybe they can afford the house of their dreams or live a life with maybe a little less stress.
And get that financial stress off their backs. Absolutely. We've seen that, again, since I've been in the Navy, those predatory lenders, again, there's a lot of car dealerships out there outside the bases, which we've all seen, where you'll see those, hey, sign here today, and then before you know it's an 18% interest rate. This junior sailor, this 18-year-old that just graduated high school, again, this is the first time they're ever taking a loan out, and they don't know the instructions back in the day, and what to look out for. And again, just through my time in the service, how many people we've had come to us and be like, hey, something's not right here. This is what I signed. And again, thank you for doing what you do, because then we have to refer it out to a lawyer or a JAG that reaches out to the civilian side and, hey, we need to stop this. We need to figure out how we can help this sailor and get him out of these contracts. So absolutely. I mean, that is a huge problem when it comes to all military branches, I think, is those predatory lending. And another big one is the payday loans, right? Because again,
that's one I was getting ready to ask you about.
It's huge. It's
fair
huge
amount of those.
Because again, with the junior sailors, you're not making a lot of money in the beginning. You're not. The Navy's paying for everything. They're paying for your clothing, your food, your residential status. Everything's paid for. So that kick that you're getting, for what you're providing for the Navy, it's not much. But again, when you get into bad times, and we try to do as much training now in the Navy as possible. A lot of training since I've been in. Make those right decisions, and stay away from those. But again, they're still out there. So,
and a lot of the car loans would be exempt under the military lending. So some home loans and car loans are not under that shell. But there are certain car loans, if they, especially the ones that include stuff that doesn't go along with the purchase, like gap insurance, right? You don't need to buy gap insurance to purchase a vehicle. So if that's included, a lot of times what happens under the statute is even at an 18, 20, 22% interest rate, if you add in all the junk fees and stuff, they're actually higher than the statutory cap. So what we offer, especially with the second opinion, is send us all your lending documents and we'll take a free look and figure out, we'll do the math, right? Similar to your APR on your credit card that shows, all of the compounding interest. Under the Military Lending Act, it's MAPR, so it's very similar. And basically what we do is we stick it in all the different junk fees and interest rates into this into the same sort of interest model and figure out, hey, is this company complying with this federal law?
Got you.
And if they're not, here's the cool part. We can represent military families. We can get their premiums repaid, all of those unlawful premiums that they've paid. We can, if they've got a potential claim, we can try to get those reimbursed. We can get them out of the loan entirely, get it off their credit. And that other company that's at fault is required to pay our attorney's fees and costs.
That's awesome.
So that's how we get paid.
Yeah.
And so it works. We're similarly aligned with the service member. And the payday loans are really interesting to me because when someone is taking out a payday loan, I don't think they're going on vacation to Jamaica. It's usually the person that is in probably a dire financial position. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, right. Especially when maintenance for cars, something comes up that unexpected, and again with that junior sailor or soldier or whatever, yeah, that comes up unexpected. And there is programs on base. There's fleet and family support on the naval bases where they can give you a loan off your, and there's no crazy tags, and this is something that's coming from a nonprofit to help you out, right? You have to pay it back through your paycheck, but again, it's there for emergency situations. And some other things. But again, with these payday loans, maybe they've used that once. Maybe something else comes up. Now they're in a bind. They don't want to tell anybody about it. Maybe they're embarrassed about it. So they have to go out there and try to figure out a way, or they're not using their chain of command, or asking the questions. So again, having those predatory lenders out there, and it's just you got to have the right training, and you got to get the word out, and especially people like you helping us out on that side. Or if you do get into a bind, it's excellent. So,
and I want to put those companies on absolute blast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think most of the time what happens is these companies, they're kind of scurrying around behind the curtain in the dark.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to pull it back and watch the roaches fly, right? Because at the end of the day, we're helping our military community, right? And so if they're preying on these military families, the other part of this that we haven't talked about, but because you're active duty in the military, right? When you sign up, there's a requirement you have to pay your bills, right? So if you get into one of these predatory loans, even if it's an unlawful loan, you still your creed as joining the military is you've got to show up at this time. You've got to do all these things. And one of the requirements is you got to pay your bills, right?
Absolutely,
is that right?
Yeah, yes. So, and especially not only that, but you have to keep your credit score up now for security clearance, right? And then I'll tell you what, with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about now, you see some of those junior sailors, even higher enlisted people, they get into a bind or something comes up, and, they max out their credit cards. Things happen in life, of course, right, that are unexpected, or you get into a spot where you've got to use your credit in the wrong way or get yourself in a bind again. But if you lose your credit score, or your credit score goes down too low, you can actually lose your security clearance, which means you can lose your job and then essentially get kicked out of the Navy for it. Or I think all branches now are starting to have that required security clearances, even on the lower level. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's huge.
One of the main things that I've heard from some of my clients is the reason why the military has that implementation is that if you have a security clearance, they don't want someone, some spy from another country or something like that. If you've got debt and somehow they can infiltrate that, now they've got someone that would be on the hook that would be willing to accept money in exchange, right? Is that the basic reasoning?
That's technically it right there, is that, if you get yourself into a spot, again, and your credit's bad and you get yourself in a financial hardship, of course there is countries and probably spies or anything like that that are looking exactly for that person. Hey, maybe we can, get in there and get some information from them. And again, that's why the Navy, and I think the military as a whole, is trying to make sure that, again, your credit scores, your financials, you're paying your bills, and you're just keeping everything in the green. So you're not putting yourself on that scale, or put you on where they can come and try to find that person. So yeah. And
I think one of the main positives of the Military Lending Act, and again, the 2017, the latest sort of amendment, if you will. It's gone through several iterations, but the main thing that it did was it created some of these carve-outs, and it doesn't allow these companies to force arbitration on service members. So when you file a lawsuit, everybody knows that this company is doing something that may allegedly be illegal, right? We'll see how it shakes out. But I think primarily what the Military Lending Act does is it offers buyers, right, who your credit score is part of that buying equation, your debt to income is part of that buying equation. What the Military Lending Act does is if you can get that one payday loan, not only do you get rid of that debt that's unlawful, but you get those premiums returned, and you can get your trade line deleted. So your credit score might go up 40, 50 points by getting that
fixed.
Especially if you're in default. I mean, there are times where if you're in default, I mean, there's no way out, right? I mean, what's your out? You either pay till you're gray, or you file for bankruptcy.
That's right, yeah. And especially when again, I've seen this multiple times throughout the years. And once you get into that spot, that bankruptcy, or you don't have a way out, then you really, like you said, you're reaching and you're looking for help. And, it's, again, and what are you doing on a day-to-day basis for the military now? Your mind's not at work, and especially even for our veterans, for people when you're out, if you get into a spot, there is people that can help you. Of course, your firm, the base, any you could always reach out to not only maybe your brothers and sisters as well. So again, anybody that's out there that's in that spot and they're looking for a lifeline, there's help out there as well. So
absolutely. And Adam, I think that you touched on something earlier that really is it strikes a chord with me, because I think a lot of times the military families that I speak with, they're not necessarily ashamed, but they're reluctant to reach out because they feel like they're taking advantage of someone. Because when the military says, "Hey, this is all you're entitled to," if they go back and appeal, well, now they are going against the military's word, and you're not, when they tell you something, it's gospel, right?
That's right.
It's the same with some of these companies, right? When you got an insurance company that says, "You know what, your SGLI policy is worth this, and here's who it's being paid for. Oh, you're not, able to do this or that." It's gospel, and I'm reluctant to ever believe anything. Maybe it's just because of all the denials I see, but whenever I see somebody with a denial letter, whether it be civilian or military, from an insurance company or something like that, I always think about who are they serving, right? Because I don't want to get too, America background on everybody, but 100 years ago, they might have been serving their customers, right? But now it's their customer versus their shareholder, right? And they're going to look out for their shareholder. And so the equation comes down to, how can we as a society prevent some of these illegal companies or some of these illegal loans or fees or things like that. And one of the ones that I learned about recently, and this will be something any seller that you have moving forward that they should be aware of, it's been on the books as a law in Florida for a while now, as a state law, but there are estoppel fees. So when you live in an HOA community or a condominium community, in order to sell from that community, you have to order an estoppel certificate, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Yep. And then, go on.
No,
I was saying,
right? Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
You're the expert in this, so tell me about it. I mean,
it's almost like a check. Hey, we're good to go. The HOA document's good to go. Now you were ready to sell your condo or property of the thing. But again, it depends on who you go through. Sometimes if you switch your buyers, they'll ask for another fee, right? And I think that's what you're about to get into now, is that some of these companies, they may be doing it wrong, and I think they're reaching out, because I've seen a couple come back and you're like, well, I'm not paying this is crazy, and then you get with your clients and explain what's going on, and hopefully that's where you'll come in here and try to explain that. So
yeah, I think that is, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's the certificate is to show, hey, how much are the HOA dues, and is the person selling it current, right? Because they've got an obligation before they sell that house to make sure, or at least the buyer has some sort of co-obligation to make sure that those are being paid during the homeowner transition, right?
Exactly. So title gets the clear to close. Everything. There's nothing on the back that they owe. So when you take control of that property, that you're gonna have to owe them as well. So exactly that's what the estoppel letter is supposed to be. So,
and I think what happened is the Florida legislature realized that there were so many of these families that were getting ripped off. So they had estoppel fees of $1,200, $1,500, and by the way, folks, these are not your real estate agents or your loan officers that are making money off this. Most of the time, it's the HOA hires a third-party company.
Yes. And
the third-party company orders a certificate. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. And usually it's not even the HOAs aware of it. They, like you said, they use a third party. And again, depending on who they're using, again, with these crazy fees, and once you reach out to the HOA and be like, hey, I just got a estoppel fee for $1,000. How does this make sense? Well, what do you mean? Blah, blah, blah,
Exactly.
So you got to ask those questions. You got to double check and make sure whoever you're using, and especially title too as well. If you see something weird on your last statement before you close on a property and you've got this insane estoppel fee that maybe somebody missed, again, double check those. So,
and I think right now the law in Florida, so if you live in Florida, the law says that they can't charge more than $250. But what I've seen recently is they charge $250, but then it's a processing fee. It's a this fee. It's I took my mom to lunch on a Tuesday fee, $49, right? It's all these little nickel and dime things. I mean, I look at some of these Altas and I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. And then you get into it, and it's like $45, $250, $500. I mean, it's like,
Where did all these
Right,
little
I mean-
come from? And exactly. And again, I think it's just a way to get, or try to get around the laws with the buyers and try to sneak some money in there. But again, yeah, it's definitely an issue, and I think all of us have seen it a couple times now.
So if you're selling your home, folks, and you see on that altar, that closeout, you see an estoppel certificate or fee, or even if it says estoppel and it's greater than $250, or the fee associated is greater than $250, that should be a red flag, red flag, red flag. And, just make sure that you're protecting your family. You might save yourself at least, $500 to $1,500.
Good amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. If you were listening to Chris and Adam there and you're like, man, you know what? I'm a military family. I could really use Adam's help. You can get in contact with him, 904-720-6675. Give him a call and his team, or you can send him an email, admin, ADMIN, @themilitarygroup.us. If you need his help buying, listing, anything, they have a full service real estate team and they are ready to help you out. We got more to do here on a Sunday morning, more with Chris, more with Adam. We continue the conversation on the other side of this break. Stick with us, 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Sunday morning, 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. And we are protecting military families. Good conversation in the first segment of the show before the top of the hour. Adam and Chris had you covered on that one. Go back and listen, by the way, WOKV.com, as well as Chris's website, BrochuLaw.com. Our guy Justin, Nova Productions, always hooking us up with a video version of the show, so you don't have to just listen on the radio, although we appreciate you listening on the radio. But go to Chris's website, check out Adam, check out Chris sitting there talking to each other about this conversation. They'll continue it in just a second, but we do want to remind you, obviously, as we always do, the Brochu Law Second Opinion. Chris, tell the people about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Casey. If your loved one has passed away and you have a life insurance policy that you're trying to figure out, remember, if you submit a death certificate and a beneficiary claim form and you don't have the proceeds in a check from the insurance company within 30 days, red flag, red flag, red flag. They may be gearing up to deny your claim. They may be unlawfully extending the investigation period. Heck, they may be paying it out to someone else, right? And if you believe you're entitled to it, you have a right to investigate it, and they need to give you a reasonable amount of time to do it. And that's where we come in. Feel free to give us a call. If you're a military family where they've told you, hey, this is the amount that you're entitled to, whether it be the VA or your military branch, or you have a question about your benefits, or you have a question about your legal rights, we offer all of those for free. If we decide to work together because you do have a military benefit that you're leaving on the table or a legal claim, we'll enter into a fee agreement. We represent military families on a contingent fee basis. There's no fee unless we win, and we advance all costs on behalf of our military families and civilian families. And I'm super excited. We have Adam in studio today. Adam is in the Navy, active duty. He is here talking about his military Keller Williams group. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. We started the group about 6 months ago now. And basically, what we're trying to do is make sure that our active duty, our veterans, and all branches are getting the right knowledge, and we're also be able to assist them in all their real estate needs.
And Adam, just to be safe, I know we've got a lot of listeners that are jumping on now. Can you just tell everybody briefly about what your background is, your experience with the Navy, and what you currently do as an active duty chief?
Chief, yeah, that's correct. So Navy chief, 17 years, go Navy. Hopefully we'll win it again against the Army this year. But so yeah, I joined 2 years out of high school. Came down to Northeast Florida for my first command. Helos for about 5 years, and then again went back to New York for recruiting duty. Where I originally came from, and then back down to Northeast Jacksonville, again, Helo Squadron down here in NAS Jax, and now I'm currently stationed at CNU Jacksonville, so always Northeast Florida for me, so it's been a good time for me and my family down here. So
absolutely. And the real estate on the real estate side, you're helping service members, veterans, military families. That's who your group is specifically helping.
Specifically helping exactly that military community. So just a background. I got back off my last deployment. I had how I got into the real estate side was had some friends, I'm leaving for deployment. Can you watch my house for me? Absolutely. A little property management, kind of a touch there. And that grew into something where I was like, hey, I'm helping these people. Let's see how big we can get it. My wife said, well, at this point, why don't you just try to get your license and see how far you could really take it and help. And again, this is friends and family at the time, Got my license and realized that I absolutely loved helping, the friends and family that I was assisting with buying and selling their homes. And then I said, well, let me branch out and let me see how big we can take it and how many people we can touch with it. So hooked up with Keller Williams Atlantic Partners. They gave me the tools I needed to really start digging into the market of, again, the military community and veterans. And then sat down and decided I needed to start a group. That's all we're going to do, because it was just split. Got the right people in place. And right now we are currently about 4 agents large. We're actually hiring on some more. We cover all the Northeast bases all the way up to Georgia for anybody assisting.
Is that Kings
Bay?
Kings Bay?
Right. Now, for us, we're just licensed in Florida. So, again, we can get that, right at the state line if you need to be up there, Yulee and Callahan.
But if somebody up in Georgia needed help, you could refer them to an agent up there?
Absolutely. And that was one of the biggest things with me with Keller Williams is that their network is already there. And one of the biggest things that happens with the military, as I think we all know, is that we move, right? We move a lot. So what we're looking to do currently, again, is, of course, help the Jacksonville area, but we're actually currently expanding the military group through the Keller Williams network as well. So any agents that are currently, maybe by themselves or struggling, we can offer them those services, what we've learned, how to give back to the military. And one of the biggest things that we haven't spoken about yet is the commissions, right? I believe that a real estate commission for our military should be at a standard. So we do reduce commissions for all of our listings. And then also we're implementing a program for if you're buying and you buy with the military group, you will also get a percentage of that money back.
And Adam, I think importantly, especially for anybody that's buying or selling real estate in Florida, particularly Northeast Florida military families, there are a lot of real estate agents to choose from, but why your military group is the one they should choose is you are active duty. Your family understands the importance of using someone that understands the military and how frequently people are moving around the country to different bases, right? You get new orders. Now you're moving to the West Coast or vice versa. And you can help those families with, okay, we're prioritizing. Here's the close date, we need those funds, or here's the close date, we need to move out or move in, right? I mean, can you explain some of those?
Yeah.
That's more intricate than the civilian family that wants to move to St. Johns County, right?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I like to move down here. With us, especially with military, with orders, you get a set of PCS orders, things change very rapidly, right? Deployments, let's say something comes up where you have to get out of there in less than that 30 days. People going on deployment and you have to do a signing for a closing, right? Or, I've had that a bunch of times. I've had buyers that get the call, hey, we've got to go. And then you need power of attorneys get into play, So there is definitely some things out there where, again, our slogan is real estate for military by military, right? All of our agents are either prior military or active duty military. So again, that's all branches, not just the Navy. Again, once you have that knowledge behind you, because we've all done it, and the moves are hard, and the Navy and the military tries to help us out as much as possible. But if your real estate agent is assisting you, or even just the questions, so we're there for knowledge as well. Hey, maybe we shouldn't sell right now. Maybe we should use some of that equity, and maybe I need to start a portfolio for myself. Try to teach the soldiers and sailors out there, again, some basic real estate knowledge really is to try to get the word out. But again, we're full service real estate team, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do right now is just try to get everybody either the knowledge out there or, again, give the services they need.
And let's up the ante here and up the complexity, right? So you've got a military family, where the family is all together moving from one state to another, one base to another base. But let's up the ante. We've got a military spouse that is being shipped or deployed to an overseas base, and their family, their spouse and kids are here, and now they're making this move on their own, right? Or they're trying to sell their house and do all these things. Does that increase the complexity as well, especially because that family unit isn't together during the move? Or
absolutely, right? Especially when you have anybody that's not there to be doing the paperwork, and the big thing comes into us with is trust, right? Exactly who you're dealing. This is a huge part of your life that's going on with the move and money and property and management. So again, if it's a brother or sister that you could rely on, that is going to have your back, especially when, again, part of that family is on the other side of the world serving our country. It's nice. I think, it was one of the biggest things for me when I did my first sale was they even said it. They're like, hey, we trust you. You handle it. Let us know. Let me take some of that stress off us. And thank you so much. At the end of it, it worked out great for us, and we didn't have to think twice about it. So, again, that's when I think I knew what my life goals were, is to try to take some of that stress away from those military families and those PCS orders. And again, it's just something that I fell in love with right away.
Now, you talked earlier about how you got started with property management and things like that. What if we have a military family that is now moving up north or out west, and they've got a house here, and we know that the real estate market in Northeast Florida, not only has it increased what seems like tenfold, but it's not going away, right? I mean, we've got a strong market here, and that military family says, you know what, we don't really want to cash in yet, or we think this is going to be a place we want to retire, or maybe this is a great property to rent out, and we'll just buy another home. Can you walk me through the types of things that you can help with these military families that want to invest, or maybe they want to lease their home, or what you guys do with property management? Yeah,
so A to Z Realty Management was the first company that I started. And that was pretty much is what we do. Again, we're trying to tie the military group into something of those lines where if you're in to the point where you don't want to sell, the market's at the point where it is, we can at least get you the right estimates, get you where you can run your numbers and make sure that your mortgage is going to be covered. Maybe you're putting a little bit away. You're not sitting there below and you're actually paying for a house that you're not staying in. So we can give you those estimates, and then we can go ahead and manage your property as well at a discounted rate than out in town. So on the investment side, we can also sit down with you and be like, hey, you have a large chunk of equity, which I think a lot of us do in Northeast Florida right now. If you bought 2018 and back now with that jump that we just had recently, there's a lot of people sitting on a decent amount of money, which for a lot of families, especially military families, doesn't happen very often, right? You've got $150,000 in equity. What's the best way that I can help my family, and do I let it sit there? And hopefully we can sit down and have that discussion where, hey, maybe we need to look into another house, a rental house, maybe not in Florida, but maybe somewhere else where you're looking to retire, or maybe it's time to buy that piece of property that you're thinking about retiring at, or the state that you're going to after the war, after your military service. I've had a lot of people come to me lately, and this is huge too. Hey, I'm getting out in a couple of years. My house is worth this. This is what I owe. Should I make that sale? Is the market going to dip? And again, I'm not a wizard. I can't tell you.
Where's your crystal ball?
Yeah, but the crystal ball that I got in my back pocket. Florida has a very strong market, right? We all know that. There's a lot of people moving in right now, but if you have a chunk of equity and you want to put it away, or you want to make that move for the retirement, we can absolutely assist you with that and give you the right numbers, give you the information, and make sure you're making the right decision.
And your military group has the tools where it's full service. If somebody's buying a home and they need to get in touch with a lender and get pre-qualified, you can help with that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest things I was just about to talk about is our partners, right? We are blessed, some of the partners that we partner with. So our first one is Blue Ocean Title. Big shout out to them. They absolutely love the military. We're in talks of actually starting a military title company where we can really help our veterans in active duty. Again, with just all their title needs, making sure, again, the legal aspect of that is correct on all points, because that's a huge thing when you're going through closing, is to make sure that someone's backing you up on that. Lenders-wise, Bank of England has been absolutely amazing, helping out our military members as well. Big shout out to Rocket Mortgage, their military team. They've done a lot of deals with us so far and have really reduced some of their rates and getting us the best packages and lending for some of our buyers. And then, of course, the last one for us is going to be Keller Williams, Atlantic Partners for us. They just absolutely took my idea and helped me out. So big shout out to Amanda, my head of operations, Megan, and then again, the rest of the military team for supporting me. And I have to say this, or I probably won't be able to get home with my wife, right? So she probably won't let me in the door tonight. But yeah, my wife has just been the rock that I needed and taking care of my two younger daughters while all this is going on. Because again, active duty and then starting a military real estate business has definitely been a venture, to say the least. But again, I get satisfaction for knowing that we're out there helping our military and our veterans. So again, it's been a ride, but I think we've got a long way to go. But again, we couldn't do it without our partners or the support system that we have. So
whether you are a military family that has owns a home and has equity in your home, or you're new in the military and you want to figure out if you can afford a home, where should our service members, veterans, and military families reach you? What's the best way to get in touch with you, Adam?
You can call me anytime.
Anytime. You didn't strike me as the 9 to 5 guy.
No. If you need some help or you got a question, you can call me. Or again, we're on Facebook. You can do Facebook.com, the military group. That's our main page, and then you can also go to our website, which is themilitarygroup.us. And then again, you can always call us 904-720-6675. And we will get back to you in military time, right? So we don't wait the 24 hours. You'll be hearing from us in about 60 minutes or less. So we will get back to you. That's for sure.
And I don't want to put you on the spot because this isn't one of those canned shows. But can you tell us about some of the different offers that some of the military families have seen? Are they cash offers? Are they from investors? Are they other families that are looking to buy? Like what? If we're trying to take the temperature of Northeast Florida real estate, what are you seeing out there, and what can some of our military families expect if they work with you all?
I think I'm going to get a lot of grief from this one from the other agents in the office, but I'll tell you this: military right now, it is a struggle for us, right? Our BAH considered, I think right now the rent estimate for Jacksonville is $2,000 and above. I think for some of our areas that we have in Jacksonville, I think it's $2,000 and above. Right now, the current BAH, which is our housing allowance, right, for a lot of you on the show probably know, is $1,850 and below, right? So we're not even at the rent estimate right now. So that's why I tell a lot of my buyers it's actually cheaper to buy than it is to rent a home right now, which is insane. And especially if you take your rent and you double it by 12 months and do that by 3 years of your orders or 4 years by your orders, how much money did you just give somebody else, right? And one of our biggest things with real estate that we've all seen, there's dips, there's ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it's statistically, and it has gone up over the years, right? So again, it's going to be an investment. Right now, with the interest rates, I think that some of us are seeing, yes, there is still deals out there, but these cash offers and these big businesses that have come to Jacksonville, they are making it very, very difficult for our military buyers. I think all buyers, to be realistic, but military especially because of our financing and our VA loans, right?
Do you think that military families have a slight advantage using a VA loan versus a traditional loan in terms of money down, or are there any other savings attached to using, some sort of VA loan?
Yeah. So, and that's one of the biggest things. And I try to tell all of my junior guys, right, that when they first get out of boot camp and they come talk to us, or, maybe they've been in the Navy a couple of years, is that we have a leg up on the civilian sector. We really do. You can buy a home under the age of 25, right, with pretty much no money down, right? A civilian on the other side has to save up 20%. And I think we all know in your early 20s, it's very hard to save money, right? So for you to be a homeowner in your early 20s, or, whenever you decide to make that purchase, our VA loan's one of the best things, in our arsenal, especially when it comes to the real estate side. the other benefits are, of course, and I think this is not a benefit, but I think it's just misconstrued in the real estate market, is that a VA loan is going to be a harder, for a seller, which is the exact opposite. VA loans are almost guaranteed to close, right? Conventional loans are, great lending packages, but a VA loan, once the appraisal is through and everyone's like, oh, well, I don't want a VA loan on, to accept on my side because they have to get these crazy appraisals. And realistically, that's not the case, right?
The appraisal is no different.
Now the appraisal is different.
I mean,
it is different. It does have to go through the VA, right? Because they're always out to protect the soldier or sailor or veteran, right? To make sure that you're not buying a house that's not worth it, right?
So instead of it, say, going through FHA, it goes through the VA.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The exact same thing. Now, if you're going through a lending package, a conventional lending package, they're going to send out their appraiser, right? But this one has to be VA certified when you're going through your VA loans. But again, it protects the sailor, it protects the soldier, but it also guarantees that closing. Once that's out of the table, a VA loan will close. I mean, there's not many things that can go wrong as long as the appraisal's right. And again, the appraisal is right. As what I've seen in the past years is that the appraisal is right on par with what the civilian and conventional side appraisals are. There's no difference, except they're just taking a look at the home and making sure that, again, maybe not a better look, but they're just making sure that the numbers match and they're protected.
And I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm a military family and I'm selling my home and I can get the same exact value, but I'm selling it to some investor from New York. No offense, I know you're from there. I'm a Yankee
like
too.
I said, the New Yorkers are coming down.
But you can either sell it to that investment company or you're selling it to a military family that's moving here. I think most military families would want to sell their house to another military family, right? Help out their fellow sailor or service member, right?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we strive for is, when we get a listing, we are going to get you the best price possible and make sure that you get what it's worth, of course. But at the same time, we try to sell military to military, right? Especially, I have so many listings and sellers that come to me and say, hey, this is what we want for the house, but we want it to go to a military member, and again, that's what we try to push out with a lot of our Facebook stuff. If we have a listing, please come, and try to get out to the military members, get the word out, groups, and then of course the base. So
great.
104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. Couple minutes to go, protecting military families. Adam, real quick, though, before we get out of here, just remind the people where they can get at you if they might need your assistance.
Again, we are the military group. You can reach us at themilitary.group.us, our Facebook page, facebook.com, the military group. And then also you can call us anytime if you need any kind of assistance or even just information, 904-720-6675. And again, thank you for having me out on the show. Everything that you're doing is right in line with us. So hopefully we'll talk again very soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Chris, real quick before we get out of here, remind the people where you're at.
Case at brochulaw.com, KCASE at brochulaw.com. Brochu, remember, it's not brochure, no R-E. It's phonetically Bravo, Romeo, Oscar, Charlie, Hotel, Umbrella, brochulaw.com. Free second opinion, no fee unless you win. We advance all costs on behalf of military families.
Also, give them a call, 904-201-1771. That'll do it this week. If you need us before next Sunday, Chris told you where to find him. Adam told you where to find him. If you want to watch a video version of the show, our guy Justin and Nova Productions hooking it up. You can find it on Chris's website, brochulaw.com. If you need me for some reason, ESPN 690, 3 to 7 every single day of the week. We're back next Sunday. Until then, have a good weekend. Appreciate you guys for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, Casey.